It all started on the 21st of March 2020, when Uganda confirmed its first case of COVID-19.
Uganda has confirmed her first case of coronavirus disease, COVID-19.
The whole world was frozen with businesses coming to a standstill, and in response to the global spread of COVID-19, at the end of March 2020, the government of Uganda announced school closure, a nationwide lockdown on all non-essential businesses, the ban on all movements intra and infra-districts, and the stringent night curfew.
In order to synchronize the dates with the closure of the schools on Friday, the actions of suspending the other activities that are starting immediately will run for 32 days, not 30 days. I thank you and I wish you good luck.
The measures initially planned for 2 weeks were then extended several times. As such, Uganda's GDP rate growth reduced to between 7% and 10% in 2020 after the closure of key economic sectors like tourism, wholesale and retail, transport, and job loss estimated between 2 to 3 million in the informal sector.
You had serious reduction in demand, a significant drop in demand. A lot of businesses completely stopped working. Businesses had to lay off staff. More than 70% of businesses operating below 50% capacity.
In Kampala's central business district, Uganda'S business hub, the city was isolated and those that forced themselves into the city were forced out by security agencies.
People should move away.
As time went on, some businessmen registered laws and closed down. To date, many haven't recovered.
Wanga tuwafunanga ba customer mu bungi naye we twagenda mu lockdown bwetuti emirimu gyakyuka.
Kyanga batugulembera sinongi nnyo kiri awo twaliza wamu kubanga era ebintu biringa ebyasigala.
It's now 4 months after full reopening of the economy since January 24, 2022, and many market research undertakings indicate that several never survived the COVID-19 lockdown. Where I'm standing right now was one of the most congested places in Kampala Central Business District. That was before the outbreak of COVID-19. It was estimated that at least 4.5 million people would gather within the Central Business District to do different business activities. But due to the effects of COVID-19, which contributed to the mindset change, and Kampala Capital City Authority, which managed to decongest the city of street vendors, most traders have shifted their concentration to other places of Kampala.
Initially, 10 years or 20 years ago, we only had one major business hub in Kampala, which was Chikubo. Now they're all over the place.
We cannot call this back because everybody that is moving on the streets now and is enjoying the flow of traffic, the pedestrians, the trade order, cannot wish that this happens. But it has had a very big impact, negative one, on the flow of business.
According to Issa Sekito, the official spokesperson of Kampala Capital City Traders Association, most businessmen fled out of the city center to the city outskirts where rent is affordable, and the migration projects a supersonic growth of the city suburbs.
Somebody could not afford the 5 or 6 million is in Kampala, and therefore the little money that was gotten and reserved by those people, they decided to build on the outskirts so that COVID does not eat it all, the little capital that had remained.
The Lord Mayor of the Kampala Capital City Authority, Elias Lukwago, says the government should consider allocating more funds to SMEs that were greatly affected in the informal sector the next financial year to help them emerge from the ruins of COVID-19 that brought world economies to their knees.
We need also to come up with some interventions to help the businesses get back on foot. They need a hand, they need a helping hand, especially those who are in the informal sector, the SMEs.
Uganda, whose economy relies 90% on SMEs economy. According to the research done by the Federation of Uganda Small and Medium Enterprise, at least 12% of the total SMEs collapsed. 68% of businesses reported a reduction in their annual turnover, and 21% of SMEs sold off their assets. To save several businesses from closing, government devised economic stimulus packages that would act as bailouts, and these among others included the government announcing 200 billion shillings as a recovery fund package for small and medium enterprises affected by the COVID-19, reduce the interest rates not exceeding 10% per annum on loans, expedite the payment of tax or value-added tax refund into businesses. Dr. John Walugembe, the Executive Director, Federation of Uganda Small and Medium Enterprise, attests that the high rate of inflation and escalating commodity prices has hindered the moderate state of SMEs recovery.
Additionally, there have been additional shocks now that we've experienced due to high commodity prices and inflation that are further complicating the recovery of businesses.
The government, however, has been called upon to work with the private sector in the budget estimate for the next financial year and reduce on the recurrent expenditure to sustain money in circulation, which will increase liquidity and cash flow.
We pray that the government realizes and appreciates the inputs from the private sector in the budget estimates, and the trajectories move alongside the minds of the private sector. What does this mean? Recurrent expenditure should be lowered and development expenditure must be risen.
Bank of Uganda market performance analysis indicate that the economy will need 3 years to recover, as economic growth is projected to 6 and 7% in the financial year 2024-2025. Sadam Mubale, Joel Vubia, UBC News, Kampala.